So we are going to learn about manipulating text in Photoshop. This is my Photoshop software. This is the canvas. This is my layers panel, and then these are my tools. All right, so I'll go ahead and then add a text. Great. So assuming we have this very beautiful text placed there, and then you want to manipulate it into curves, we have something we call warp. To warp it, you would have to first transform it, and that is you go to edit and then you go to transform, or let me say free transform. So free transform gives you this outline, and then you can use to control and manipulate the text. But this alone is not enough. We have to right click on the text. Once you have your free transform outline come, you right click on the text and then you go to warp. Now when you go to warp, there would be some options appearing on the top here. So this is warp, and then when you drop down the arrow, we have several different versions of options you can play with. So for an example, let's go to arc lower and see what happens. Have you seen? And then you have other controls over here, bend and then height, and I think vertical or whatever over there. So let's play with the bend. Have you seen the behavior? The same thing applies to height. Can you see the behavior? So you can play with it. This is also for you. What's the name? I don't really know the name, but that is it for you. You can further play with it. So there are also other options such as rise. Can you see how it is? And these ones, you always have additional controls to play with. So that is it for you. This is inflate, and then this is arc. Well, if you don't need it, you just undo it, and then you come back to your original text. All right, so that is a warp for you. So next, let's go and learn text on part. All right, let me clean this whole text, and then to create a part, you can do so by either using the shapes or the pen tool. So when you go through, these are your shapes actually, and then this is your pen tool. How do you create a part using the pen tool? You just select it, you select the pen tool, and then you come to this option. Ensure it is on part, not shape. Currently it's on shape, so I'm going to turn it to part. And once you had it on part, you then use your pen tool to draw any part at all you want. So I'm going to draw, let me do it this way. All right, so that is a part for you. So once this part is created, you would have to go to your text tool, and then once you select your text tool, so you hover on your part, and when you hover on your part, you see that an additional line would appear on the cursor, and then you sort of click on it, and once you click on it, you begin to edit whatever text you want. And the beauty of the text on part is that it takes the part you've created for it. So I made it sort of like a curve, and then it's taking that part. So that is it for you. Let me clean it and then demonstrate as well using the shapes tool. So let's come to the shapes, and then when you select your shape, okay, let's go to the ellipse shape. Now remember to ensure that this option is not on shape but it's on part. Great. So when you come, I want a perfect circle, and so I press shift on my keyboard, I press and hold it, and then I click and drag. That one will give me a perfect circle. But remember, this is not a shape, it is a part. It's just a part for me to write or do something else with. All right, so once this is selected, I go to my text tool, and then I hover on it, and once I hover on it, I click, and then bam, my text appears. So I can edit this text to whatever at all information I want to keep there. So that is it for you. You can also use rectangles. There are several shapes you can play with. Over here we have pentagons, polygons, ellipse, and all of that. And if you don't like any of these, then you have the flexibility to use the pen tool. For with the pen tool, you can create whatever shape at all you want, and then have your text travel on it. The next lesson is on perspective. So again, let me write my text. Jesus. All right, that is very beautiful. Let me make it a bit bigger and position it really well. All right, so perspective gives you the flexibility to manipulate your text in an extreme way, more than the WAP we earlier on learned. All right, so to have this text in perspective, what you simply do is that once the text layer has been selected, you press Ctrl+T on your keyboard, or you go to edit, and then you go to free transform, and then you have the outline come. And once it comes, you right click on the text. It will give you several options. You can distort and all of that. But now let's go to perspective. And once you activate it in perspective, you can really manipulate this text into whatever perspective you need it. So can you see I've made it sort of like lie down, and that's really beautiful. But remember, once you have it in perspective, you won't have the flexibility to edit the text any longer, because it will automatically convert it to shape or something else. It becomes uneditable. Next, we are going to learn about distortion. And to distort your text, again, Ctrl+T, free transform, or you can always come here and then activate it, edit, and then you go to free transform. Once the free transform has been activated, you right click on the text and then you go to distort. Well, distort is not activated, and the reason is because you have to first have your text converted to shape. And to do that, you just simply come and right click on the layer and you search for convert to shape. Yes, we have it over there. Once it's converted to shape, again Ctrl+T to free transform, and now let's right click on it. Great, our distort option has now been activated. So now let's go to distort. Wow, nothing happened. Yes, nothing happened, but now you actually have the flexibility to move it really all around, in whatever direction and area you want it. You can distort it in whichever way that pleases you. Yeah, so basically that is distortion for you. Now there is another thing. Let me undo this, and then, well, it's still on shape, not on text. So always remember it's converted to shape before you can do this. Then you go and then you look for the selection tool, not part selection. You go and look for direct selection tool, and once you click on direct selection, listen, all the anchors in this text has been activated, so you can select just one of them or two of them or three of them and further manipulate them. So for an example, let me select this. So I've selected just this anchor and I'm going to move it. Can you see that? Great. So now let me come to S. Oh no, which one should I go to? Let me go to this S and then look at that. Can you see what's happening over there? Okay, so I'm going to do something. Let me select all of them and then select this portion alone. Once that portion alone is selected, have you seen all the anchors beneath there has been selected? Once they've been selected, I'll press the down arrow key and then I will move them. Can you see that? Great. So you see, this gives you the flexibility to really edit your text whichever way you want it. I mean, move it, distort it, disorganize it, yet maintaining the artistic beauty. This would be very helpful, especially when you're designing logo. Now let's move to the next lesson. Let me undo all of this and let's go to the next lesson, and that is how to apply filters to this particular text. So first, to apply a filter, you would have to first convert it to shape. All right, once it's converted to shape, the reason why the anchors have been activated is because I still have my direct selections tool active. So let me go to move and you see they've all vanished, but remember they are in shape. Okay, but actually let me go to my direct selection and first let me have it move like this. I want to have it a bit longer. All right, so I have this particular design. Remember, it's converted to shape, yet it is a text, by the way, just that you cannot edit it at this level any longer. So now let's go to filters. We have the flexibility to apply filters to these ones. Let me actually scale it up so that you would really appreciate it. Okay, so now going to filters, we have the flexibility to, we can choose to apply noise to it. Let's add some noise. Okay, they said I have to first convert it to smart object. That's fine. All right, so I've converted it to smart object. Now look that. Look at the text. Can you see? Yes, the looks is becoming really classy. And boy, I bet you, if you're doing some designs, these looks would actually really help you. Look at it, as opposed to, this one. Okay, let me undo. Okay, so this is it as opposed to this one. So this gives it a more classic, feel. Now there are so many other filters options you can actually apply. So let's go to blur and maybe go to Gaussian blur. Convert it to shape. Okay, now look that Gaussian blur, you can increase the intensity or bring it all back. So you see, this is how to actually blur it. You blur text using what? The filters. But remember, you have to convert it to shape, and it's very simple to convert it to shape. You just right click on it, look at it, convert to shape, and then you're good to go. All right, let me bring it back to how it was. Great. So now there are so many other ones. For an example, we have distort. Distort over here, boy, this is crazy. We have something like 12. Let's go to 12, and then you see, first convert it to shape. All right, now look at it. The 12, okay, there's no better way to explain it than, to, okay, so have you seen what is happening here? It's actually twirling. Okay, let me apply and see. Wow, can you see what has happened? If you're doing a design for shirt or whatsoever design, this effect can really be of great help. Yeah, so basically there are so many other, features. In fact, there's such a thing as video. All of these, they are assignment for you. Play with them. You liquefy. Yes, you can make it in a liquid form, and this will take you to a whole different panel where you have so many other controls to to play with in order to make it a liquid form. All right, but these ones would be lessons for the future, but they are homework for you, and so go and then learn them by yourself. God bless you.